Hello Herbal Academy students, my name is Mason Hutchison. I'm the founder of HerbRally.com, and we are a herbal community hub, educational hub, but primarily what we do is we list herbalism events throughout the world as well as virtual herbal events. I'm really excited to talk to you today about one of my all-time favorite plants. You might even call it my spirit plant. I even got it tattooed on my arm right here. It's called Taraxacum officinale. Now that's the Latin name, but it goes by many other common names, which I'm gonna bust out the book by Dandelion Medicine by Brigitte Mars. Pull out my dandelion bookmark here, AKA amarga, AKA bitterwort, blowball, cankerwort, chicoria, clockflower, consuelda, devil's milk pail, doondock, fairy clock, pissenlit, wild endive, and I could go on and on, but it's more commonly known as dandelion. I'm an old fart. I'm about to celebrate my 40th birthday, so let's go back maybe 32 years or so. When I was about an 8-year-old kid, you know, I was a bit of a troublemaker, and I'd be riding my bike around the neighborhood, and anytime I would spot a dandelion in seed, I didn't even know what it was at the time probably, but I had this urge to go over there, pick the dandelion, and blow the seeds all over everybody's yard. And I say troublemaker because in my mind, what I was doing was I was spreading weeds to all these different yards, and I was like, yeah, you know, take that, people. And I'm not encouraging you to be a, you know, a bad kid or anything like that, but I want to say maybe that was a bit of foreshadowing for later in the future for my life as an herbalist now. Maybe what I was doing without even realizing is that I was trying to spread this dandelion love to everybody. Let's talk a little bit about the edible uses of the plant itself. And this is really neat. So every single part of the dandelion is edible. So the flowering top, the yellow part, actually contains a constituent in it called lutein, which is good for eyesight, or at least has been shown to improve or support eyesight in general. So what can you do with the flowers? So you could throw the flowers in salads. A lot of times people will make like dandelion flower fritters. Flowers. All right, so the other part is the seeds. And this was, I recently learned this speaking with Brigitte Mars, esteemed herbalist. She's been at it for about 50 years now, doing her thing, learning about herbs, teaching about herbs, and she told me that you could make dandelion seed microgreens. So that's super fun. So moving on down, the stem was also surprising to me. I never really consumed them before, but I also learned this from Brigitte Mars. You could turn the stems into like noodles of sorts. You could literally like gather a bunch of the stems, boil them in water, throw some olive oil or butter in there, and yeah, just make like dandelion stem noodles, gluten-free too, if that's up your alley. Moving right along. All right, so leaves. Leaves are probably the part that I've used the most. I just love to munch on them. Here, let's do a little taste test here. So, yeah, also bitter. Again, bitter's good, but these are so high in nutrients. Minerals, vitamins, all the above. And one of my favorite herbal medicines to make of all time, I do this on an almost daily basis, is something called a nourishing herbal infusion. And basically what you're doing is, with a nourishing herbal infusion, is you're taking a dried herb, in this case dandelion, and then you're putting it into a mason jar, maybe about an ounce in a mason jar, a quart mason jar, filling it up with hot water, and then you're letting it soak overnight, becoming this really strong mineral-rich tea. So right now, actually today I've been drinking nettle, but let's just pretend this is a dandelion infusion. Right here would be just an amazing beverage, herbal beverage, just filled with the minerals that you... Down to the root, I think the most popular thing potentially that people do, at least talk about, is drying them or roasting them and turning them into like a coffee substitute, if you will. Granted, it's not gonna be coffee. It's gonna, I guess, slightly resemble the taste of coffee. It's certainly not gonna have the caffeine in it or anything, but if caffeine is something you're trying to kick, it's certainly a good option to look into using dandelion roots by roasting them, mixing it. You could even cut it with your coffee to make it like a little half and half blend. The main thing that I want you to get from this is I hope to impart my enthusiasm for my love of dandelion and herbalism onto you as well, because as I mentioned, it was my gateway herb into becoming an herbalist. And if I could just encourage you to get out there, build a relationship with dandelion, and then just have that kind of grow your love of plants and herbalism in general, I would say mission accomplished for me. I hope you got a lot out of this. I just want to say thanks to the Herbal Academy for allowing me to participate in this program. It was a lot of fun, and just to chat about one of my all-time favorite plants. Get out there and eat your weeds, and just thanks y'all for joining me. Go harvest some dandelions, eat some, and yeah, bye-bye.